carnage of the old wooden bridge. It was a sunny day on the island of Sodor, and the twins were enjoying themselves enormously. They were taking some stone trucks. They were taking some stone trucks from the quarry to the station, and they were both enjoying the summer as always. Bert began pulling the trucks, and Nert was being the back engine, and with that the two engines as brothers both enjoyed taking their goods and coaches everywhere around the island of Sodor. Later, the twins had just taken their stone trucks to the station when Porter arrived. The twins were not impressed. "Hello," he said. What are you two doing?" "This isn't none of your business," said Bert rudely. "Oh, I'm just trying to be friendly," said Porter. "We're just preoccupied right now," said Bert. So please buzz off. "I'm sorry," said Porter, but the twins ignored Porter and puffed away. The next day later, Porter had just met the twins again. They were still not pleased. "What a long line of coaches you've got. You've got," he said. "Yeah," said Bert, "but it didn't take you that long to get us figured out. The last time you were here was when you pushed Arthur off the rails, and you said you weren't friends with him anymore. You know, sometimes you're such a mind changer on which engine you want to pick a fight on," he said. "Yeah," said Bert. The guard blew his whistle, and the twins were out of the station. Porter was very sad. The twins had been very rude and cold-hearted with him forever and always. Until one evening, the Fat Controller came to see the twins outside the sheds. "Tomorrow," said the Fat Controller, "you two are to take a goods train to the quarry, but you two must be careful with the old wooden bridge. Puff slowly, or if any of you go fast on it, it will creak, or else." "Yes, sir," said the twins. "Good," said the Fat Controller. "I'm glad you two were clear on that." And with that, he walked away to leave the twins to it. The morning began, and the twins began to enjoy their adventure. They went up Shake Shake Bridge, but this bridge was very old and very creaky, and had not been used for a long, long time. Bert and Nert began to cross it, but whenever they crossed it, it began to creak. "Geez, the flippin' wheeze!" screeched Bert. "This bridge is very scary." "Sounds like you're a scaredy cat," teased Nert. "Shut up!" shouted Bert. "All right, you two," said their drivers and firemen, and the twins carried on. Meanwhile, at the sheds, Porter was telling Duke, Arthur, and Billy about Bert and Nert's rudeness. "They've been mean to me since every day," said Porter. "After all, I am a very changed engine." "We know you've changed," said Arthur, but we're still friends again, though," he said. "All they're thinking about was when you and I fell out, but we're back to being friends now." "I know," said Porter. "Maybe they've heard about how you weren't friends with Arthur in the first place," said Duke. "That was from when I was a different engine," said Porter. "I'll show those racists a thing or two about my life," said Porter. Now," said Billy. When the Fat Controller finds out, he'll be sending them away, and as for years ago, they'll be sold for scrap. But the engines were in shock, but worried about Bert and Nert. They thought that engines could be sold for scrap for no reason, but they were worried that if Bert and Nert were being mean to Porter, they could be sent away and sent for scrap for good. In the evening, the Fat Controller went to see the twins again. "You two have worked really well." "Thank you, sir," said the twins. "But tomorrow you'll need some help. I've arranged with another engine." "Really?" said the twins. "Yes," said the Fat Controller. "Porter will be helping you both tomorrow." The twins growled at the Fat Controller. The Fat Controller scolded the twins severely. I know you two don't like being friends with Porter," he said, "and I know he has been troublesome at once," he said crossly, "but he is now a work-harding engine, and you two need to stop tormenting him with your rudeness, for God's sake," he said, and then he stormed angrily off. The twins growled at him again, but he disappeared immediately. When the evening was over, Bert and Nert were still at the yards, waiting impatiently for Porter to take their trucks. "Hurry up!" they groaned. At last Porter arrived, but this time he was going backwards. He accidentally biffed the trucks towards Bert and Nert. "Watch it!" they said. "Sorry," said Porter. "I didn't know it hurt." The twins were so cross, and yet they were so cross with Porter that they refused to be friends with him. Every time they argued, Porter ignored the twins, and the twins ignored Porter. They were on their way to the quarry, which they were ready to go to. Porter hurried along. The twins did as Porter said, but were still not interested in his words. "We'll soon get him later," said Nert. "We'll teach him a thing or two what we're like," said Bert, and the twins kept it to themselves. Porter heard what they said and ignored them, and carried on with his work. They were ready to go up the hill towards Shake Bridge and through the old wooden bridge, and at last they made it to the old quarry. 50 years ago, it used to be a town for drug users, but was destroyed after that and was turned into a quarry. And with that, Porter still carried on the old wooden bridge. It creaked and groaned, but Porter didn't mind. But the twins began to shake. Groaned Nert. "I don't think we should go there again," he groaned. "This is too scary," agreed Nert. Porter ignored the twins and carried on. He wanted them to behave. But really, the bridge was scaring the twins, and still they ignored the bridge and went to work. At last the trucks were empty and the stones were delivered to the quarry. Bert and Nert had both had a plan. "Let's escape," whispered Bert. And with that the two did escape and left Porter behind. Porter was too busy dozing off. The two started to escape, but went so fast that they didn't care about the old wooden bridge anymore. "Slow down," said their drivers. "The bridge, you're going to fall off the bridge." But the twins wanted to go faster on it, but they were too scared and too careless. And then there was trouble. The bridge groaned and creaked. It was about to collapse, and still Bert was intent of falling down. "Help!" he groaned. I don't like this." Nert tried to pull, but his driver stopped him. "Stop!" he shouted. "Moving will only make it creak." "I suppose we'll have to stay there forever," said Nert, and he was right. The timber from the old wooden bridge was starting to collapse and vibrate into the water. And still it was in danger of collapsing. And as they floated into the water, "Help!" groaned Nert. "I don't like this." Just then, Porter soon came to the rescue to see what was happening. "Oh dear," he groaned. "That bridge is going to fall any second." "Help us, Porter," said Nert. "Don't trust him," said Bert. "Yes, you will," said Porter. "Why should we?" said Bert. "'Cause I'm a changed engine," said Porter. "Now I'll do it." And at last he biffed the trucks, and at last the two made it off the bridge just in time. Until all of a sudden, with the bridge destroyed and the trucks vanishing away into the water, the twins had felt terrible. "We did it to joke about," they cried, but they didn't. And then there was trouble. Soon Hero arrived at the scene of the disaster, and popped out of Hero was the Fat Controller himself. The Fat Controller was fuming with rage against the twins. "I told you two to be careful with that bridge, and you weren't," he said. "And also, you two have been very rude to Porter. When he's out of the water, you two will both apologize to him and pull trucks every day." "We're so sorry, sir," said the twins. They were very foolish. Months later, Porter had just been rescued by the Sodor Steamworks when the twins arrived. They all went to apologize to Porter. "We're sorry we've been rude to you," said Bert. "We didn't know what came over us." "Oh, it's all right," said Porter. "The past is in the past, and let's be friends from now on." At last the twins were friends. "Why don't you become a part of us in our sheds?" said Nert. "Would you like that?" "Oh, certainly," smiled Porter. "I will be a full-time member of your sheds." And the three engines both smiled. Porter was now a member of Bert and Nert's shed, but he still had a lot to learn in the Fat Controller's railway.